I'm done buying chicks from hatcheries. The real cost isn't the price tag, it's hidden mortality, electricity, and grid dependency. Your hens already have a free 0-watt incubation system built in. I triggered it in 24 hours. Here's exactly how you flip that switch. Let's look at the actual balance sheet. When you browse an online hatchery catalog, you see a neat clean number, $4.50 or $5.50 per day old chick. That is a financial illusion. The real cost of a mail order chick is a compounding series of hidden operational drains that most keepers choose to ignore. First, look at the logistics penalty. Hatcheries require minimum order sizes, often 15 to 25 chicks, specifically to maintain collective body heat during transit, that forces you to buy more inventory than your land or your infrastructure actually requires. Then comes the live animal shipping surcharge, which immediately tacks on an extra $35 to $50 per box, regardless of distance. Once those birds arrive at your local post office at 5 in the morning, the physiological clock is already ticking backward. These chicks have survived up to 48 hours purely on their residual yolk sacs. They arrive dehydrated, stressed, and swimming in high levels of cortisol. Even under optimal management conditions, the standard transit mortality rate sits between 10 and 15% within the first 72 hours. If a sudden cold front hits the shipping route, that number can easily spike to 40%. You're paying full price for livestock that frequently arrives dying. But the real bleeding of capital starts when you bring them home to the brooder. A standard 250-watt infrared heat lamp must run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for at least 4 to 6 weeks until the birds grow out their true feathers. Let's do the exact math. A 250-watt bulb running for 42 days consumes exactly 252 kilowatt hours of electricity. If your local utility rate sits at an average of 16 cents per kilowatt hour, you're spending roughly $40 just to keep one small cardboard box warm. Add to that the recurring cost of commercial chick starter feed, specialized waterers that constantly clog with wood shavings, and standard medicated flushes to prevent coccidiosis outbreaks in cramped conditions. By the time a hatchery chick reaches point of lay at week 20, you have invested between $22 and $28 per bird in direct overhead. The industrial system has conditioned us to believe that automated plastic machines are the only reliable way to replicate this cycle. We buy a $400 cabinet incubator, plug it into the wall, and spend 21 days obsessively monitoring digital humidity displays, refilling water reservoirs, and worrying about power outages that can wipe out an entire batch in 60 minutes. It is a fragile, high-maintenance liability. The irony is glaring. You're spending hundreds of dollars to mechanically mimic a biological process that your flock is already programmed to perform. Nature has already engineered the perfect self-regulating zero-emission incubation system. It doesn't require a grid connection, it doesn't send you an electricity bill, and it has a built-in 99% survival rate. This system is completely dormant in your coop right now, waiting for a specific environmental input to turn it on. To take control of this system, you have to understand the clutch volume theory. A hen does not become broody by random chance or magic. It is a precise mathematical and hormonal calculation executed by her central nervous system. A chicken's brain functions exactly like a biological computer. In normal conditions, her hormonal baseline is dominated by estrogen and follicle-stimulating hormones, keeping her in egg production mode. Every morning, she drops an egg in the nesting box and walks away. She does this because her internal counter hasn't reached its target threshold. Here's the secret that industrial hatcheries do not want you to realize. The hen's brain cannot see. It has absolutely no visual confirmation of how many eggs are in the nest. Instead, it relies entirely on a dedicated network of highly sensitive tactile thermoreceptors located on her underside, specifically across her breast and abdomen. When a hen sits down to lay her daily egg, these receptors measure the physical surface area and the specific thermal mass pressing up against her body. In the wild, a jungle fowl will continue to lay eggs until she senses a critical mass, typically a cluster of 8 to 12 eggs. This cluster is what we call the clutch volume. Once those tactile receptors register that the clutch volume has been reached, a massive neural signal shoots directly to her hypothalamus. The hypothalamus immediately halts egg production and triggers a violent massive surge of the hormone prolactin. Prolactin is the biological switch. Within hours, it rewrites her entire behavioral male profile. This hormonal cascade causes her to shed the soft down feathers from her breast, exposing bare skin. This bare patch is known as the brood patch. The blood vessels in this specific area dilate, increasing localized blood flow to transfer pure, uninsulated maternal body heat directly to the eggshells at a constant 99.5 degrees Fahrenheit. We can completely hijack this entire hormonal pathway in exactly 24 hours using a $1 trick. You do not need to risk real valuable fertile eggs to see if a hen will go broody. Instead, you deploy heavy, realistic ceramic, wooden, or plastic dummy eggs. If you place a cluster of 6 to 8 dummy eggs into a single nesting box all at once, you instantly fool her tactile sensors. You skip the 10-day natural laying process entirely. When a prime candidate steps into that box and feels a complete, heavy clutch already waiting underneath her, her brain registers that the mission is complete. The prolactin floodgates open within a single 24-hour cycle as standard production hen will transition from a casual egg layer into a fiercely dedicated, immovable incubator. However, this biological hack operates on a razor's edge. You're dealing with a profound neural reprogramming process. If you commit one specific critical error during the first night of this transition, the entire hormonal cascade collapses instantly. If her internal state is broken during this sensitive shift, she will not only abandon the nest, but she will actively destroy every single fertile egg you try to introduce later, wiping out your entire investment before the experiment even begins. Before we execute the final swap, we must construct the incubation environment. The standard wooden nesting boxes mounted 2 feet off your coop floor are a death trap for a prospective mother and her future chicks. If you leave her there, you're setting yourself up for failure. First, high-mounted boxes completely isolate the nest from the natural moisture of the earth. Second, when those chicks hatch 21 days later, they will instinctively try to follow their mother out of the nest, tumble 2 feet down onto hard bedding, and suffer fatal injuries or hypothermia because they cannot climb back up. The solution costs exactly $0. We build a dedicated ground-level brooding station using salvage materials. I use old wooden shipping pallets, clean scrap cardboard, and a few pieces of scrap wire mesh. Your ground-level infrastructure must prioritize one major physical variable: humidity capillary action. To hatch successfully, a chicken egg must lose exactly 12 to 14% of its total weight through moisture evaporation across its 21-day incubation cycle. If the air is too dry, the internal membrane dries out and traps the chick like shrink wrap. If it is too wet, the air cell doesn't grow large enough and the chick drowns moments before piping. An electronic incubator requires you to constantly manage this with plastic water channels and digital hygrometers. A ground-level earthen nest solves this automatically. To set this up, clear a corner of your coop directly on the floor. Dig down slightly to expose the raw natural soil base, or place a thick, damp square of inverted sod directly on the ground. Cover this soil base with a dense, compressed layer of clean, pesticide-free straw or wood shavings, molding it into a shallow bowl shape. The natural moisture rising from the ground will pass upward through the soil and bedding, creating a self-regulating microclimate that locks the ambient humidity precisely between 55 and 60% right beneath the hen's body. Next, you must establish a strict privacy isolation zone. In a standard flock environment, other hens are opportunistic. If they see a broody hen sitting comfortably, they will attempt to squeeze into the same box to dump their own daily eggs. This throws off your incubation timeline completely, resulting in eggs that are at completely different stages of development. To prevent this, use your salvaged pallet wood or a simple wire mesh barrier to completely partition her nest away from the rest of the flock. She needs her own private 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters visual boundary. Finally, apply the leave no trace rule for nutrition. When a hen is in a deep broody state, her metabolism slows down dramatically. She will willingly starve herself, losing up to 20% of her body mass, rather than abandon her eggs to walk over to the main flock's feeder. You must position a dedicated waterer and a high-protein feed station exactly 6 inches from the front of her nest. It must be within her immediate line of sight and arm's reach. If she has to walk 5 feet to get a drink, her core body temperature drops, the biological rhythm resets, and egg development stalls. By locking her into this zero-cost, ground-level, self-contained micro-ecosystem, you eliminate every single environmental variable that an expensive plastic incubator tries to control. Nature doesn't need a credit card, it just needs the correct spatial geometry. Now we arrive at the tactical core of the entire operation, the night-time swap. This is where we close the open loop from Chapter 2 and safely swap out our $1 dummy eggs for high-value, verified, fertile eggs. To execute this successfully, you must understand why daylight operations are a complete operational failure. During the day, a hen's sensory faculties are operating at 100%. Her eyes can detect subtle variations in shell color, texture, and light reflection. If you reach under her during the day and remove her dummy eggs, her stress hormones spike, neutralizing the prolactin in her system instantly. She will perceive your hand as a predator attack, fight back, and instantly abandon the nest site. We must exploit a natural neurological vulnerability, the biological night trance. You must perform this swap precisely between 11 at night and 2 in the morning. At this specific time, a chicken's melatonin and prolactin levels peak simultaneously, while their night vision drops to near total blindness. This operation requires the precision and silence of a surgical procedure. Do not enter the coop with a standard white flashlight or a headlamp. White light instantly shatters their neurological trance, triggering an immediate adrenaline response. Instead, use a specialized red light LED source operating at a wavelength of approximately 650 nanometers. Avian eyes lack the specific retinal sensitivity to process deep red wavelengths efficiently in pitch darkness. To her, you are completely invisible. Prepare your fertile eggs beforehand. Ensure they are clean at room temperature and marked clearly with a pencil so you can identify them later. Approach the ground nest with zero sudden movements. Do not speak. Slowly slide your hand flat underneath her breastbone from the front, keeping your palm facing up. Move with a slow, continuous pressure. Do not lift her off the nest. Lifting her breaks the thermal seal and wakes her up. Feel for the heavy dummy eggs. One by one, slide them out from under her body and place them into your pocket. Next, take your fertile eggs and gently slide them into the vacant space, ensuring they rest directly on the straw bedding, right underneath her exposed brood patch. As soon as the new eggs are in place, her bare skin will register the subtle temperature difference of the cool shells. Her natural maternal instinct will instantly kick in. She will use her beak to tuck the eggs deeper under her body, settling her weight down until her bare skin wraps completely around the new clutch. This seals the loop. You have successfully bypassed her defense mechanisms, avoided an adrenaline spike, and swapped out the fake bait for real production assets without her ever consciously registering the swap. The difference between a flock raised by an industrial hatchery and a flock raised by a natural mother is night and day. It is the difference between a fragile, high-maintenance asset and a resilient, self-generating legacy system. When a chick hatches inside a plastic incubator, it enters a sterile, artificial world. It has no teacher. When you place those chicks into a brooder box, they lack basic evolutionary survival programming. They do not know how to identify aerial predators. They cannot differentiate between toxic weeds and high-protein forage, and they lack the flock socialization skills required to integrate into an established pecking order. You have to spend your own time and labor teaching them how to drink, protecting them from drafts, and manually managing their environment for months. A mother-raised chick, however, is a highly optimized survival machine from day one. The moment the chick pips out of its shell, it hears its mother's low-frequency localization clicks. This acoustic conditioning creates an unbreakable communication loop. On day 2, while your hatchery chicks are trapped under a 250-watt bulb eating processed soy meal, a broody mother is already leading her chicks out into the pasture. She teaches them to identify the distinct shadow profile of a red-tailed hawk within 48 hours. She physically shows them how to scratch the soil to uncover high-protein tick larvae, beetles, and grubs. Data shows that mother-raised chicks exhibit 40% higher foraging efficiency compared to hatchery-reared birds of the exact same age. They get their protein naturally from your land, which drops your commercial feed overhead right down to near $0 during their critical growth phases. Let's look at the long-term return on investment over a standard 5-year production cycle. The incubator route starts with $400 for the cabinet, plus $50 for the brooder, then bleeds $40 in electricity every single hatch cycle, and absorbs a 10 to 15% transit mortality loss on every shipment you order. Labor is constant, manual water refills, humidity checks, temperature calibrations. The biological hack rate starts at $1 for a set of dummy eggs. Electricity cost per hatch is 0. Transit mortality is 0. Because every chick hatches on site, 0 shipping stress. The hen manages 100% of the microclimate herself, and her chicks begin foraging for free pasture protein on day 2. By rejecting the machine, you choose a decentralized, anti-fragile model. Your flock becomes entirely self-reproducing. You never have to place another online order, you never have to pay a live animal shipping fee, and you never have to worry about a grid failure killing your next generation of bird. You trade an expensive, depreciating piece of plastic for a permanent biological loop. This is why I stopped buying chicks forever. This entire biological hack is only one single component of a truly independent homestead ecosystem. To make this self-reproducing flock highly profitable, you need an infrastructure that works just as hard as your hens do. In my previous video on the self-cleaning coop, I break down the exact physical schematics for building a coop layout that harnesses deep litter biology to completely eliminate manual scraping. And in my video on the zero-cost protein engine, I outline the exact high-yield protein cycle you can grow right on your property to completely replace commercial layer pellets, closing the loop on your feed bills forever. When you combine these 3 systems, your homestead moves away from commercial supply lines completely. Before you head over to those videos, I want to hear your field experience. Have you ever had a hen go broody, and what did you do? Let me know in the comments below.